The eviction notice wasn't from me. The key didn't work anymore. And her best friends? Let's say they weren't returning her calls. All that from a single sentence she laughed out loud during one stupid fight. It's remarkable how quickly your whole world can collapse when the wrong person finally stops holding it up. What do you think she said? Drop your guess in the comments. Like and sub if you've ever walked away in silence, and watch karma speak louder. For a while, things felt solid. Not perfect, but predictable. Mia and I had a rhythm. Morning coffee together, shared playlist while cooking, quiet Friday nights with cheap wine and better intentions. I paid the bills. She made the space feel lived in. It worked. Or at least I thought it did. She'd vent about work, curl up on the couch in my hoodie and kiss me on the cheek when she left for the gym. Sometimes she'd laugh at something on her phone and show me a meme. We weren't building an empire, but we had a home. And in a world that moved too fast, that felt like enough. We were 3 years in. I'd stopped checking for cracks. I believed in what we were, right up until the moment she laughed in my face. A single sentence. It was so casual, so sharp, it made the walls echo. It was then that I realized that the love I'd built had become her backup plan. We had our roles. I paid the rent, the utilities, the streaming subscriptions, and even the gym membership she swore she'd cancel once I settled into a routine. Mia brought the life. The color, her laugh in the kitchen, her playlists echoing through the apartment, her perfume lingering in hallways long after she left for work. Our home wasn't lavish, but it was warm, familiar. We worked. At least, I thought we did. The first crack appeared quietly. She said she couldn't make it to dinner with my boss at the last minute. Said she was exhausted, but 2 hours later I saw her tagged in someone's story. Cocktails, full makeup, posing with a friend I'd never heard her mention before. I didn't bring it up. I told myself maybe she needed space. Maybe I'd misunderstood the timing. That's what you do when you love someone. You give them the benefit of the doubt, even when it costs you peace. But it kept happening. Then came the behavior changes. The phone started living face down. Notifications preview off. Just work stuff, she'd say, even though she worked retail and hated her manager. She started spending longer at the gym, always after hours, always with no signal in the locker room. She began making plans without checking with me. Birthday brunches, weekend trips, and commitments I'd only learn about after they were booked. When I questioned it, she'd roll her eyes. Why do you care so much? It's not like you're doing anything that weekend. It wasn't the words that hurt. It was how easily they came. Emotionally, things began to shift. She wasn't cruel. That would have been easier to name. She was casual, distant. She stopped greeting me at the door, stopped asking how my day was, stopped laughing at my dry jokes. The ones she used to say were so stupid they were geniuses. Started to feel like a roommate who paid for everything, not a partner. And still, I tried to explain it away. She's just tired, I told myself. She's overwhelmed. She's young. I even Googled emotional distancing in long-term relationships one night at 1 a.m. and bookmarked an article titled, "When Love Feels Lopsided." I didn't read it, just stared at the title. She'd sigh when I reminded her of bills, scoff when I said I missed her. Once I caught her smiling at a message on her phone, and when I asked what it was, she tilted the screen away and said, "Nothing. You don't need to be nosy." And the way she said it, like I was intruding in my relationship, made my chest ache in a way I couldn't explain. Still, I let it go, because love, in my mind, was supposed to be patient, and she wasn't cheating. Not that I knew. She came home, slept beside me, kissed me goodnight. That had to mean something, right? But then came the shift I couldn't ignore. She told me she'd planned a trip to Cabo for her cousin's wedding. "We leave in April," she said casually over breakfast. "Wait. We?" I asked. "Have you already booked?" "Oh," she shrugged. "Yeah, figured you could take time off. You didn't even ask." "Oh, please," she laughed. "It's not like you have anything going on." And that was the moment I felt something snap, softly but completely. I pushed my plate away. "It's about respect, me. You can't just make plans for both of us and assume I'll drop everything." That's when she said it. "Respect? What, do you think you're my only option?" And she laughed. Not nervously, not to break the tension. She laughed like she knew she held the cards. I froze. Not because of what she said, but because of how easily she said it. Like I was disposable. Like the man who'd been paying 90% of our life together, remembering her mom's birthday, picking her up when her car broke down, planning anniversaries she forgot, was just a placeholder until something shinier came along. She grabbed her purse. I'm going to Jade's. Don't wait up. The door shut, and I sat there in our kitchen. My kitchen. The one I'd tiled myself after she said she liked those minimalist Pinterest backsplashes. I looked around and realized something terrifying. I didn't recognize my life anymore. Not because it had changed overnight, but because it had been changing quietly, piece by piece, while I wasn't paying attention. Or maybe I had paid attention but didn't want to admit what I was seeing. And then I remembered the gym trainer she wouldn't name. The guy in her tagged stories that she'd untagged a few hours later. The brunch with a friend who just moved to the city, but whose voice I'd never heard in the apartment. The receipts I found for $19.00 cocktails at a rooftop bar we'd never been to together. Suddenly, the pieces fit. She wasn't planning a future with me. She was building an exit and I was footing the bill. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay there in the dark, listening to the hollow stillness, wondering how long I'd been the only one trying. But not anymore, because the second someone laughs in your face about having options, it's time to stop being theirs. At first, I didn't want to know. That might sound strange, but sometimes, when the walls start cracking, you don't reach for a hammer, you dim the lights and pretend it's still home. I told myself it was just a bad week. That she didn't mean what she said about having options, that it was heat of the moment, tequila-tinted sarcasm. But a part of me didn't believe that. So I started paying attention, quietly. First, the phone. She used to leave it charging in the kitchen. Now it went with her everywhere, even into the shower. I noticed her brightness was turned down and notifications were off. The same gym trainer kept liking every mirror selfie she posted, always around 10 p.m. I clicked his profile once, private. But the bio? Transformation coach. DM to connect? Sure. I didn't ask. I just watched. Second, the calendar. She told me she had a work thing on Thursday night, but her job site showed store hours ended at 6. That night, she came home at 11:40 p.m. Her hair smelled different, like someone else's cologne. You're late, I said quietly. We had drinks after. You don't have to be weird about it. I nodded. However, I checked the Uber history on our shared account. There wasn't one. Then came the bills. I pulled up our credit card statement, not because I suspected, but because something in me needed proof that I was overthinking. $72.00 at a rooftop bar. $26.00 at a liquor store 5 blocks from our apartment. $400.00 at a clothing boutique she swore just browsing through. One charge caught my eye. Luma Hotel, Day Pass. She told me she hated that place. That night, I lay awake. I stared at the ceiling and thought, what if she's cheating? But another voice fought back. Or what if I'm becoming paranoid, jealous, controlling? I hated that voice because it sounded like her. So I asked for help. Not from my friends, they'd just say, leave her. I needed someone who knew her world. So I messaged Kendra, her old roommate. We'd always been cool. Hey, this is random, but has Mia ever mentioned someone named Julian? Trainer, maybe? A pause, then, Julian? Yeah. He used to flirt with her heavily. Mia kind of liked the attention, but said he was too gym bro to take seriously. Why? I didn't answer. But that night, I checked Mia's tagged photos again. One was gone. I searched her Instagram highlights. A new folder, progress. Click. Her in gym clothes, sweaty, posing by the mirror. In the corner, barely visible, was a blurred figure with Julian's tattoo on his wrist, a snake curled around a rose. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. Because I still wasn't sure. I still wanted to believe maybe, somehow, this was all circumstantial. Maybe she was careless, not cruel. So I did something stupid. I invited her to dinner. I asked how her day went. She said normal. I asked if she wanted to do a weekend getaway, just us. She said she had plans with Jade. When she wasn't looking, I took her phone, opened Safari, typed one letter, Jade, Julian, Airbnb, Lakeview cabin popped up. I didn't cry. I laughed. Quiet, small. The way someone laughs in the movie theater when they realize the ending was obvious the whole time. But that laugh broke something open. So, I started preparing, not for a fight, for clarity. I printed the credit card statements, took screenshots of the Airbnb search, took photos of her gym selfies with Julian in the frame, downloaded the hotel day pass receipt. I called my HR department and asked about using 2 vacation days. I emailed my landlord. If I needed to terminate the lease early, what's the process? I even started drafting a note. Something calm, quiet, final. The final straw? It wasn't a message. It wasn't a receipt. It was the look on her face when I handed her a mug of tea the next night. She took it without a word. No eye contact. Phone still in hand. Did you take? And as she scrolled and sipped, she smiled. Not at me. At something or someone on that screen. And I knew. I was no longer part of her joy, just the one who funded it. That weekend, while she was out, I backed up all shared files, packed only what I owned, canceled everything under my name, phone, gym, Spotify, streaming, groceries. I made sure every piece of comfort she'd leaned on for 3 years would be gone. Not out of malice, but out of clarity. She wanted options, so I made sure I stopped being one. Saturday morning, she left early and told me she had yoga and brunch with Jade. The air smelled like her perfume lingering on the hallway rug. I waited exactly 15 minutes before picking up my bag. Everything was ready. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. For once, she'd forgotten it. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. Everything I needed was already downloaded, documented, and copied into a neatly organized folder titled Respect, Mia Zip. By noon, I was at Terrence's place. We hauled the last few boxes in. He cracked a beer. So? That's it? I nodded. That's it. At 4 p.m., I logged into our phone plan and removed her line. No warning. At 4:10, I logged out all devices from our streaming services, changed every password, canceled her gym membership with a click, disabled autopay on her Uber and DoorDash. Then I posted a simple Instagram story. Life's quieter when you stop explaining your worth. No tags, no names, but the timing, impeccable. She texted at 5:01 p.m. WTF? Why is Netflix asking for payment info? 5:04 p.m. Marcus. My phone has no service. This better not be you. 5:15 p.m. Where are you? My Uber isn't working and I can't even call Jade. I left a note on the dining table. You're right. I'm not your only option. Rent's due on the 1st. $1,850.00. Utilities not included. Good luck. Attached is a printed stack of charges. $400.00 at Luma Hotel. $70.00 from the rooftop bar. $8.99. OnlyFans. Julian_fit. Yes, she used my card that evening. Her spiral began. Phase 1. Rage. You psycho. You can't just leave. I didn't respond. Did you take the TV? You're disgusting. Technically, it was my TV. This is childish. Come back and act like an adult. I blocked the number. Phase 2. Regret. Sunday morning, she showed up at my office. Marcus, the receptionist whispered, there's a Mia here for you. I didn't even look up. I don't know a Mia. Security walked her out. From the window, I watched her scream something, probably about betrayal or injustice, as the guards guided her past the flower bed I'd planted for our anniversary. I smiled. Phase 3. Damage control. By Monday, she'd launched the smear campaign. Instagram posts. Some people can't handle strong women. Tears, filters, cryptic quotes. Mutual friends started messaging me. Her best friend, Rachel, DM'd, I can't believe you abandoned her like this. She's devastated. I replied with one sentence, ask her about Julian. Then silence. Until Kendra messaged me 2 hours later. Mia just told everyone, you're still together. She even RSVP'd with your name to the wedding in Cabo. Ah, Cabo. Her final act of delusion. So I did what any calm, collected man would do. I emailed Alyssa, the bride. Hey, just a heads up, me and I split weeks ago. You'll need to change the reservation. What? She never told us. That was a couple's suite. Yeah, might want to talk to her. Good luck with the big day, though. By Tuesday, I got a message from her mom. Marcus, I'm so sorry for everything. We didn't know. I thanked her, said nothing more. But Mia wasn't done. She showed up at Terrence's apartment Thursday night. Terrence texted, Bro, your ex is outside with a suitcase. What do I do? Call the cops, tell them about the incident at my work, the credit card stuff, and the car she keyed. That last part happened 2 nights ago. I had the footage. Police were filing the vandalism report. Insurance covered the damage. But Mia? She'd just collected her first criminal charge, and I hadn't raised my voice once. She tried a pregnancy scare next. I'm late, I think it's yours, we haven't had sex in 2 months, blocked. Then came the GoFundMe. Help me recover from financial abuse. Goal, $10,000. 0 cents. Raised, $73. 0 cents. Her mom twice. Comments were brutal. He paid for everything. Girl, get a job. You're calling it abuse now. Within hours, she deleted the campaign. Final blow, she found out I was dating Kendra. Casual, organic, not planned, but poetic. You're dating my friend. Kendra responded, ex-friend. I don't associate with liars and manipulators. Mia lost her entire circle that night. Screenshots floated in group chats. Voice notes. Proof. Receipts. They finally believed me. Not because I told them, but because she showed them. I didn't ruin her life, I just stopped saving it. And when someone builds a house out of lies, it only takes a little wind, not a storm, to bring it down. It's been 3 months, quiet mornings, peaceful nights, no more slammed doors, no more scrolling through texts that feel like traps, no more being someone's emotional doormat with a wallet attached. She's gone now. And for the first time in years, I'm not the one waiting to be chosen. I've chosen myself. We broke up on a Thursday. But the breakup itself wasn't the tragedy. The tragedy was all the Tuesdays before that when I sat across from her pretending I didn't notice the smirk in her voice or the distance in her touch. It was the mornings I made coffee and told myself things would get better, even when I knew they wouldn't. She lost comfort, I lost dignity. And still, it was a trade I'm grateful for. I've moved out, packed my things in silence, left the good towels and took the coffee machine, started over in a smaller apartment with bigger windows, more light, more room to breathe. I cook for myself now. Nothing fancy, eggs, toast, and grilled chicken, but it's mine. I don't eat in silence wondering if I'm about to get guilt-tripped over brunch plans. I go to the gym not because I want Instagram boyfriend content, but because my body deserves care too. The weight I've lost? Not just physical. I'm lighter because I'm no longer carrying someone else's ego on my back. My coworkers noticed it first. Said I seemed focused, sharp again. It's wild what clarity returns when no one's draining your emotional battery for sport. People keep asking if I've forgiven her. I think that's the wrong question. Forgiveness implies a debt to settle, but some debts aren't moral. They're mathematical. She took more than she gave, repeatedly. Not just money, energy, time, joy. And I don't forgive that. I just don't carry it anymore. I let go not to set her free, but to reclaim the parts of me I abandoned trying to earn what should have been given freely. The anger came, so did the grief, but neither stayed. What stayed was something quieter. Something harder to explain, but easier to live with. It's called peace, and it doesn't require her name. So what's the lesson? That love isn't a contract to endure disrespect. That loyalty to the wrong person is a betrayal of yourself. That someone laughing in your face when you ask for respect is all the answer you'll ever need. I used to think being dependable made me valuable. Now I know being respected makes you irreplaceable. And if they can walk away without looking back, you better believe you can too. Last week, I ran into someone who used to know us. She asked how we were doing. I said, she's probably still figuring herself out. I've finally figured myself out. And that's the truth. I don't stalk her socials. I don't check who she's dating. I don't even imagine if she regrets it. Because regret belongs to the one who treated loyalty like a backup plan, not the one who finally drew the line. I found one of her earrings under my dresser a few days ago. Small, gold hoop. Used to see her wear it on Sundays when we'd walk to the market and pretend we were something real. I didn't feel much, just a small sting, a reminder. Then I tossed it in the trash, no ceremony, no metaphor, just done. Now, I go home to myself, to a life I built without apologies or explanations, to quiet joy, simple habits, and peace earned, not gifted. I'm not bitter. I'm not waiting. I'm not even looking back. She laughed and said, "What, you think you're my only option?" But she was wrong, because I was never her option. I was her lifeline, and she cut it. Now I breathe deeper, walk taller, and if she ever wonders how I moved on so completely, let her. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted the most? If you were in my shoes, would you walk away or forgive? Which part of this story hit you the hardest? I read every single comment. Ever feel like people don't change, they just take off the mask? And tell me honestly, have you ever loved someone so much you forgot you deserved to be loved back? If this story touched something buried in you, leave a like so I know you're not alone. And hit subscribe if you believe there are some lines once crossed, there's no going back. If you've ever lost yourself in a toxic love, just drop a single dot in the comments to remind the world you survived, you're healing, and you're not invisible.